Good morning, this is just a quick early morning video to explain a little bit how you apply for your feed-in tariff here in the UK before it goes away in April. So it's early in the morning, so excuse me, I am still in my Jedi dressing gown because it's damn cold over here in the cave. But a couple of people who are in the process of getting solar, I guess in the rush to the end of the feed-in tariff here in the UK, have asked some questions about what's involved in kind of applying for the feed-in tariff. So I've got another video which covers kind of what the feed-in tariff is all about and how much it's worth and everything. I'm not going to go into that. This is more about kind of the process of application. So as I had mentioned in the previous video, you can go with any supplier that supports the feed-in tariff. You don't have to go with your existing electricity supplier. I went with Good Energy for a couple of reasons. One, my friend Ed is using Good Energy, and I think it was someone at Joju that recommended them to him. They also have an app, so you can submit your readings via the app as well. That's not working for me for the last month or so, but that's a different discussion. But yeah, so we just use Good Energy as an example here for this process. So what happens is you're going to have your solar installed. Now, if you've installed your own solar solution, you're not going to be able to apply for the feed-in tariff. So you have to have had your solar installation done by a MCS accredited installer using MCS components. And as part of that, you'll get an MCS certificate. And once you have that certificate, that is then when you can apply for the feed-in tariff. So typically this will happen after your solar has been installed and they've tested it and you've paid the balance of that installation, then they should give you your MCS certificate. In addition to that, you will need to have your EPC certificate. So most modern houses, well, if it was a new house, or I think it was probably about 6 years ago now in the UK, there was this requirement to have this home buyers pack that would have your energy rating for your house. So you may have that already, but most solar installers as part of that process would have had an EPC survey done. So you need to have that, and I think your house has to be a category C or above, something like that. So yeah, so you need the MCS certificate, your EPC certificate. You also need to have, well, it's handy to have electricity bill, because that will have your electricity meter information on. You can go and look at that in the electricity closet, but it's easy enough just to get it off your bill. You'll need to provide the name, address and contact information of the installer in case they need to do any verification that the install is ready. You also need some sort of proof of ID, something like passport, driving license, in addition to a utility bill. I think I used my driving license. You also need to submit the meter reading of your solar generation meter. So this is I guess for me, one of the frustrating points. So I have two recommendations. When the solar is installed, take a picture of your meter. It's probably going to be on like all zeros anyway, but it's very unlikely that your feed-in tariff provider is going to accept that. So what you need to do is, as soon as you get your MCS certificate, then go and take another picture of the meter, and it probably would have increased a little bit. So when I was going through my fit application, I got my sent them the picture of all the zeros, and they were like, no, look, we're not having that. There's no way it was at zero, even though I had my MCS certificate on the same day. So it just so happened that I had a picture that I'd taken of the meter about 5 days later, and they did accept that. So I have lost, a couple of quid, but not the end of the world. You also need to supply them with your bank detail information, so obviously they can make the payments. And I think from memory, I had to supply a copy of the invoice to show kind of what I'd had installed. So if we pop over to the screen now, so just go onto the Good Energy website. This is funny. We do not support Internet Explorer. I'm using Chrome. Right, okay, here we go. Okay, so if we look at the application, I'm not going to go through it because obviously I don't need to put all the information in, but as you can see, it's asking for the owner information first. So you're going to give some information about your address, then you're going to provide information on the installation details. So then the installation details is, as I mentioned already, about the installer name, so the name of the company, their email address, contact number, the MCS certificate number. So you will have that on the MCS certificate that you've been given, so you put that in, date of installation and installed capacity. So yeah, it's going to be 4 kilowatt, 6 kilowatt, 9 kilowatt, whatever it may be. Enter your EPC certificate information, as we mentioned before, when the date of that was from. Then the generation meter, so make and model and serial number. This bit's really important because it's going to be the serial number that kind of ties your account to the meter to do the readings and everything, and obviously then the start meter read. And so I guess that's the other thing that's important. So get that MCS certificate, on the same day take a picture, and on the same day do your application. If there's too much variance in between that, then the FIT payment people tend to get a bit crappy about it. Obviously if you have a battery installed as well, you need to put that information in. When I had my solar, obviously the battery was installed after the fact, so I just selected no for that, which had no kind of impact on anything. So that's that. Then you go through to upload information. So this is when you're going to have a copy of your driving license or passport, invoice and all that sort of stuff. Then you provide your payment information to the bank account that you're going to get paid for, and you send and confirm and do all that sort of business. Now then what tends to happen is the FIT provider will then say that they will respond to you and confirm that your account has been open, but you have to allow up to 28 working days. So working days, not calendar days. And so for me with Good Energy, it took literally the whole of those 28 days. And that included me chasing them a couple of times because I was really worried about kind of delays and stuff. But I guess the thing that I guess is good for you to know is, even if let's say you had your solar installation done at the end of March, so you're really worried about accelerating this before the April cutoff, as long as you get your MCS certificate before the end of March, you're going to be fine because it kind of backdates to that point. So if you had your solar installation on like the 25th of March and you got your MCS certificate like the 27th, make the application on the 27th. It doesn't matter that they're probably not going to approve everything until like the end of April. It will be backdated from the start date, so good to keep that in mind. So that's basically how the application goes. It's relatively straightforward, just a little bit time consuming. Probably take you about 10-15 minutes to do the application online, and then the 28 working days to get all your confirmation, everything back. Then in terms of how the payment process works, it's done every quarter. So I think, I don't know if it applies to all of them, but for Good Energy, it's the 20th. So it was like 20th of December, 20th of March. This is when I submit my readings. So I can submit my readings as many times as I want in between that date, but it basically takes the last reading as close to the 20th. They will then confirm that reading, and then you have to wait like a couple of months to get that payment. If you've missed submitting the reading around that 20th date, then it's going to lapse basically, and you won't get any payment in that kind of following 2 months. You have to wait until the next quarter. So for me, 20th of December is when I submitted the last readings. I should get some money, which I think is going to be about £127 or something for my last quarter's earnings. I should get that by the end of February. Then it'll be another month towards the 20th of March, submit the next readings, and then I should get some money towards the end of May or something. So I'll be mentioning that in some of my kind of solar update videos, but hopefully that helps you understand what's involved in applying for your feed-in tariff here in the UK, and kind of how long it's going to take. So don't panic that it's going to take a month. Just keep on them to make sure they're doing the paperwork and not falling behind. But yes, MCS certificate, EPC certificate, payment information, proof of identity, information about your solar install, and you should be good to go.
Thanks for watching this video. A thumbs up would be really appreciated. If you're interested in other geek type videos, please consider subscribing to Spectrum Geeks. Why not also follow us on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. And before you leave, why don't you check out one of these other videos that may be of interest. Thanks again for watching.